tornado watch. Yeah, nothing's gonna happen here, but it is pretty cool. Looks really gloomy. I mean, that is pretty epic. You gotta love the clouds. It looks darker than it is because iPhone brightens it up. But welcome everybody. My name is Michael. Today we're discussing about Binance and what is happening in America with Binance. There's been a lot of crazy news recently. Let's get into it. So there was a CFTC lawsuit that was earlier this week, and around $1.6 billion was pulled by investors from Binance. We all know that exchanges can do some shady stuff. Out of all exchanges, my favorite is Binance. Well, they're like the Amazon. I think they're too big to fail. I don't think it's going to be a situation where it's going to collapse suddenly, because they also are on a global scale, and I don't think they're going to get shut down so easily. Now, I always could be wrong, and we never know. We've seen some crazy stuff happen, and whoa, that was insane. Lightning just struck down, and that's awesome. Oh yeah, here comes the fun. That's awesome. Absolutely epic weather. That's pretty crazy. All right, we're gonna do that now because now we're gonna get splashed. Oh man, this is so much fun. Look at that. There's just streams flowing down that whole street. That's awesome. All right, on a serious note though, there have been reported 21 tornadoes today across the United States, in the Midwest and in the Southwest. Right now, literally as I was recording it, it stopped, and here we go. Emergency alert, severe flood. A flash flood warning is in effect until 11 p.m. Little Rock, Arkansas has been hit hard. Hundreds of people injured. I'm sure there's going to be some, casualties. So rest in peace. It is very, very serious. And it's just tornado season right now. There's massive, massive tornadoes in southern Illinois, Iowa, Tennessee, the usual. Mississippi was hit hard not too long ago. This is just part of the American lifestyle here. So, stay safe out there. So, as you can hear, they're going off. Severe thunderstorm warning, take shelter, 90-mile-per-hour winds. Interesting. So a lot has happened with Binance, and with the CFTC charges, there was tons of pages of documentation. So Binance, this is well known, all exchanges will trade against their clients. Of course, that's how they make their money. But Binance traded against customers with approximately 300 house accounts. These were either directly or indirectly owned by Tau, as well as accounts owned by Merit Peak and Sigma Chain. Tau has also traded on the Binance platform through 2 individual accounts. Very interesting. So, there's a little bit of a lack of transparency. There's a little bit of manipulation here in terms of everything going on. There's actually massive manipulation. There's hidden risks on the platform that weren't, really told to investors. It's mainly controlled by one individual, but a lot of these exchanges will be by one major CEO or founder. There's no governance. It's a black box with U.S. and non-U.S. exchanges that are commingling finances. And the growth is financed by centrally controlled token BNB with a heavily manipulated market cap. Well, we all knew that BNB was manipulated. Some people are saying it shouldn't be even in the top 20. But a lot has come out with Binance, with CFTC. They're still massive. It doesn't matter. All companies out there, obviously the banks, all companies will have horror stories. There's going to be lawsuits. There's going to be charges. Binance is accused of similar malpractices to FTX. And right now, it is interesting. There was a lot of swapping of numbers. We're talking about tens of billions of dollars here that are being impacted by these decisions. Forbes came out with a lot of information, and CZ went on Twitter and he said, I'm reluctantly spending time on FUD again. Forbes wrote another FUD article with lots of accusatory questions with negative spins, intentionally misconstruing facts. They referred to some old blockchain transaction that our clients have done. So, with everything that Binance is going through, Binance could potentially be breaking its own rules. So on August 17th, they withdrew $3.63 billion from their Peg wallet to the Binance 8 Cold Hard wallet. It then returned $1.85 billion to the Peg wallet, but transferred the remaining $1.78 billion to another wallet, Binance 14. Later, the exchange distributed the funds to a trading firm called Cumberland. It went to Amber Group, it went to Alameda Research, and it went to Tron founder Justin Sun. So right now, the Binance spokesperson that came out said there was no commingling. BUSDC, another case, had zero collateral for 4 months. So when Binance withdrew that $1.78 billion, this was on August 17th, it did not decrease the supply of BUSDC. The collateral fell to zero. The exchange did not correct it for 4 months. It was deficient by over $1 billion on 3 different occasions. And Binance could be potentially misusing customers' funds, similar to FTX. Again, a lot of big accusations here, allegedly, but there's also a lot of facts. So Binance emptied the account. We're talking about billions of dollars. And similar to the banks, they're doing a lot of trading. That's where the money's happening. But what happens if people want to withdraw? What happens in terms of stable coins, where if you mess up with a stable coin, that can destabilize the whole crypto environment. And it sort of already has. Obviously, when you look at Terra USD, hey, you work with stable coins, you destabilize a couple things, boom, $40 billion gets wiped. So this all came out recently in the Northern District of Illinois. It's a 74-page document. The CFTC has labeled Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, USDT, BUSD, and other cryptocurrencies as commodities. Allegations that Binance traded against its own customers using the 300 house accounts without disclosing this activity in the terms of service. Allegations that Binance evaded federal law and taught customers how to bypass sanctions. Some evidence that was inside those documents that Binance intentionally mislabeled 2.8 million U.S. customers as residing in an unknown country for the purpose of concealing their presence in revenue reports. Evidence was somehow directly collected from Changpeng Cao's phone. CZ and Binance allegedly violated core provisions of the Commodity Exchange Act by offering and dealing in off-chain commodity futures and commodity options, soliciting and accepting orders for commodity futures, options, swaps, retail, and commodity transactions, operating an unregistered facility for the purpose of trading or processing commodity swaps, failing to implement an effective customer information program, and 5, willfully conducting transactions overseas for the purpose of evading provisions of the Commodity Exchange Act. The CFTC is asking for CZ, Changpeng Cao, and Binance to receive punishment in the form of fines for their conduct, a ban on trading digital asset commodities, and a ban on trading commodity interests such as crypto futures and options. They've currently opted for a jury trial, and that ban on trading digital assets, that's the one that's probably going to hurt the most. America is still, yes, with the regulations and everything, a very large market. And yes, they can survive without America. However, and also to add in, there's going to be American clients that are dual citizens that are going to be able to log in with VPNs or being the sirens are going off again, a dual citizen in another nation. They're going to be able to, while traveling, still have their accounts. So, included in there, allegedly, there was also lying to regulators about strict anti-money laundering compliance, allegedly instructing a suspected trafficker in relation to the darknet market, Hydra, to create a new account when his current one was flagged, and allegedly downplaying suspected terrorist activity on the platform because their trading volume wasn't enough to buy a AK-47. What's this? All right, let's take a look. Reading through. Internally, Binance officers, employees, and agents have acknowledged that the Binance platform has facilitated potentially illegal activities. For example, in February 2019, after receiving information regarding Hamas transactions on Binance, Lim explained to a colleague that they usually send small sums as large sums constitute money laundering. Lim's colleague replied, you could barely buy an AK-47 with $600. And with regard to certain Binance customers, including customers from Russia, Lim acknowledged in a February 2020 chat, like, come on, they're here for crime. Binance's MLRO agreed that we see the bad, but we close two eyes. Ugh. Oh boy. That's a little yikes. Here's another one. That was in relation to the gentleman who had his account closed. Lim's internal discussions with compliance colleagues illustrate that Binance has tolerated Binance customers' use of the platform to facilitate illicit activity. For example, in 2020 of July, a Binance employee wrote to Lim and another colleague asking if a customer whose recent transactions were very closely associated with illicit activity and over $5 million worth of his transactions were indirectly sourced from questionable sources should be offboarded, or if it was a class of cases where we would want to advise the user that they can make a new account. Lim chatted in response, can let him know to be careful with his flow of funds, especially from the darknet like Hydra. He can come back with a new account, but this current one has to go. It's tainted. So what's all this amount to? There's a lot of violations for crypto exchanges, but there's also a lot of violations for banks. For example, JP Morgan Chase had 223 violations with penalties since 2000, amounting to $36,129,000,000 plus. So, this could be a witch hunt, and people forget that Binance has been targeted for tax evasion, for money laundering, for all sorts of charges before by America. That's why they have Binance US and Binance Global. And Binance Global is probably going to just say, you know what? Yeah, we're going to make sure that with US customers, we're going to be a little bit more compliant and ensure that no US customers are going to be trading with us. And that's it. And since it's a global company, they're charging the global company. We don't know essentially what's going to happen because they're going to have to define what digital asset commodities are. They're going to have to, why is Binance US not being charged? Is Binance US legally able to trade? If they were to do, damage, what tools would exist for being international? Would they have US dollar sanctions? Would they have fines? Would they have international fees? It's really tough to define how the CFTC will go through the borders of U.S. sovereignty. Do they have zero jurisdiction? They might. Maybe it's desperate FUD. If it's a FUD attack by the CFTC, how are they necessarily going to... First off, this is scaring other companies, by the way. There's an execution sentence, essentially, for Binance, for any company, by the fact that there's going to be a ban on trading digital asset commodities, if that were to go through. But a lot of people are saying that's not going to go through. They're going with the strictest charges, and then it's going to get downplayed, and it's going to get downgraded to something much more minor. But even with that, Binance has been through legal troubles very many times before. Binance US is registered for selling digital asset commodities. The sirens are going off again. Man, this is getting a little annoying. There's no tornado here. So there's tornadoes a little further to the west and south in Illinois. There's actually a fair amount of tornadoes in Illinois. Most people don't know. So I don't know. They're really, really trying here. Binance is probably going to be fine. As always, they're probably going to have to improve their screening program to disallow Americans from trading even further. Again, we don't really know what's happening, but it is kind of funny reading certain things from this. So that's pretty much that.
Anyways, thanks so much for watching today's video. Have a good rest of your day, guys, and take care.